So we do have a seminar in Miami in the middle of the May. So John and Tanya is gonna be there. Also, we're gonna have I think it's our gonna be second seminar in London. Well, at least the first one in 10, 15 years that we've done there. And of course, they're gonna be seminar in LA in August. So don't forget to RSVP for our great seminars. And we do have a lot of good tours coming up as well. We have Costa Rica tour February 19th, so you still have 2 weeks to think about it. There are good tickets available. There's a lot of direct flights with Avianca from different US cities, not too expensive, so you can check it out and you can join the tour, meet beautiful Costa Rican ladies. Of course, we have a Medellin tour March 5th, so Colombia is also waiting for you. And Bangkok, Thailand, March 26th. And of course, we're gonna have our first tour to Argentina in the end of February. So there is 3 weeks for you guys to join it. So we still have it's almost sold out. We have a couple of spots left. So if you want to meet beautiful Argentinian ladies, I'm sure you've seen some videos, some interviews from Argentinian ladies with us before. So yeah. So don't hesitate, sign up, and John and Tanya is going to be there as well. So they're looking forward to meeting you. And we do have some really special videos for you tonight. I have a couple of interviews that we did on Ukrainian tour. So guys that were there, so they can share their experience, how it was to get there, how they feel safe being there, and their experience with meeting ladies in Ukraine currently. It's very fresh video, the most recent that we have. So let's watch the interviews now.
The weather's been decent. It's not super cold or anything. It's November. Oh, well, it's going to be December pretty quick. But I was concerned. I didn't tell anyone I was coming here because I didn't want anybody to worry. But to be frank, my name's John, but to be frank, when I tell my kids where I've been, they won't be surprised or shocked. But I was concerned. I didn't want to get stuck here.
Is it your first time in Ukraine since the war began?
Yes. A lot of the guys came by train or by bus from like Warsaw. And I came from Warsaw, but I was worried about not being able to get out and get back because I need to be able to get back quickly. And so I actually rented a car and a driver from Warsaw, which is not a bad idea if it's pricey. But it just, a lot of traffic, everybody's on one road, so you get behind trucks and things, and,
of course.
But I've enjoyed the tour. The two socials were fun.
You were dancing a lot?
Well, the last couple hours are my favorite when you can get on the dance floor. And I tried to dance with as many ladies as I could. And then...
You got the moves.
Well, I was having fun, But yeah, I'd come back on a tour. And I'll probably come back to Ukraine anyway. So, you've done good. Let me shake your hand.
Well, thank you.
You bet,
It's
Anna.
a pleasure of having you on this tour.
It's a pleasure.
So.
We've never met, but we've talked on the phone.
Yes, a lot of emails.
Yep, a lot of emails.
Mostly about Vikings. But yeah, again, thank you for coming. What advice would you give to guys about coming to Ukraine? What to prepare for? Any tips?
Yeah. I would say consider either the train or hiring a car. Come with a buddy and split the cost of the car. And can I make a recommendation of a?
Sure.
Okay, it's called Euro Road Trip something. But if you Google that, it'll pop up. They're a Bulgarian outfit, I think. But I'm sure what they do is they have drivers everywhere, and if you want to go from Warsaw to Odessa or whatever combination of cities, I'm sure they'll find drivers for you because they're probably Uber drivers and things that they have on their contact list. So I would recommend that with a buddy because I know some of the guys on the bus were just exhausted when they got here.
It is hard, yes, like 17 hours, I say.
And then the trains had some problems the other day, that delayed trains, and so I was kind of glad I took the car. I got here. That was another thing that I learned. I used to come in like on Wednesday, you know, it starts on a Thursday always, and I came in on a Wednesday or even on a Thursday. I didn't do that this time. I came in on Sunday night. I'm glad I did.
Oh, quite a few days early.
Because I had days to, because I'm older, I'm 73, you know. I mean,
you don't look like that. You don't act like that.
I appreciate that. You're very kind. You're my friend. So I would recommend coming in a little, or if you can, you know, fellas are working. I'm retired, so fellas are working and they can't. But if you can come in a few days early, because you'll have the jet lag and stuff, you know, and it, you know, the younger guys can handle it better than us old timers. But I would recommend coming with a buddy and getting a car, unless the war's over and everything opens up again. Then that's different. You don't have to do it then, but you don't want to get here and get stuck.
What other tips, maybe like financial preparation, what guys need to expect? You went on quite a few dates. What's your average?
Well, I'd say if a lady recommends a restaurant, usually it's going to be pricey. If you say, well, where would you like to go? And they say such and such. Like I had one lady said, I'd like to meet at Matisse, like the painter.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, that sounds kind of nice. That sounds like a pretty nice place.
Yeah, it's a little pricey. Yeah.
It's a little pricey. So you know.
Oh yeah, it's very famous for being expensive. Yes.
Is it okay? Well, that's even better to know.
That's why.
But yeah, if they recommend a place, if they want to take their friend who's an interpreter, a little bit of a red flag. Sometimes, not always. Just little things like that. But Anna, Helen, Yana, they'll help you with all of that because you know all those games, and so.
Well, that's why I give you a list of restaurants, guys. Recommended restaurants that you're not going to be overcharged, be safe. So try to stick to the list as much as you can.
There you go.
Any other tips? Any other advice could be helpful?
Yeah, it never works to have 50 names. Narrow your list down as you go. You know, start with 10, and then if you like 3, really, that you'd like to see more than once.
Yes.
Because if you just have 50 dates, one Tuesday, one Wednesday, I mean, then you're on a train back home.
Yeah, it was a bunch
and you
of
go
first
like,
dates.
well, gee, I don't even remember. I mean, I can't even remember any dates because it's just. So I would recommend that. Narrow it down as quick as you can, and then come back. You know, and if you tell the ladies that you can come, you can and want to come back, that's a big plus. They're like, well, he's not just a player. He's not here to just have fun. So. I think they appreciate that. If they want to learn English, or if they know English, of course. If they know English, of course, that's a big plus. But if they say, you know, I'd like to learn, you know, they mean it. They're not, because they know English is a big deal, and they can get a job, better job, and things like that. So.
Of course, they won't be able to communicate once they move. You know, so they want to be by themselves. You know, there's nobody to talk to. So it's
well, you know, I've talked to several guys on this tour over breakfast who said, you know, we have a Ukrainian community in my city, and I said, I didn't know that. Like, we have a fella from Fairbanks, Alaska, and he says there's a Ukrainian.
Even in Alaska.
Yeah, yeah. So
he looks like close to North Pole, right? He was saying.
The North Pole.
Yeah, he's like.
Yeah,
so even the North Pole, you can find
Ukrainians. He's not far from the North Pole.
Yeah.
But you know, it gets cold here too, so that may not be something that drives a lady not to be interested in going. But yeah, I wish everybody good luck and plan and work with you in Phoenix, and Michelle, who's very helpful. And of course, with money and things like that, you do have to change the money. And I do go to a currency conversion place, a little place down here, but just for the convenience. I know it's high, you know, but it's easier for me than trying to find a bank and standing in line. Whereas you can go down there. He didn't even want to see my passport.
Yeah, they don't check passports.
Yeah, so I didn't even need my passport. But you make sure you keep some cash for tips and things, because if you tip like at breakfast, if you tip on Tuesday, by Thursday everybody knows that you're a tipper. And you don't have to over tip, but you know, leave a little something and you're going to have coffee every time you need it.
All right, any last words of wisdoms for the guys?
I would say, rather than come and stay a long time, come meet some ladies and then come back. Yeah, don't try to do everything in one swath. Come for a few days longer than the tour. Come for 3 or 4 days extra if you can. But don't worry, because they'll want you to come back, and they'll greet you with open arms. These ladies will, because it shows you're interested. You know, you don't go home. They don't want to do the email pen pal. They want to see you in person. So I would recommend that.
Yes, for sure. Well, thank you, John,
You bet, Anna.
for sharing your wisdom with the guys. I definitely need it, so appreciate it.
Yeah, have a good one. Thanks.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Anna.
Thank you, John. Hello, guys. Here we are in Kyiv, Ukraine, and this is Travis. He just taken our tour to Kyiv, so I'm gonna talk to him about his experience. So thank you, Travis, for joining us today.
Absolutely, yeah.
So can you tell a bit more about yourself? So where are you from? What state? You know, what do you do for a living? Just briefly.
Oh, I'm from New York, upstate, not in the city, and I work for a bank, doing all sorts of fun stuff like that for work, and yeah, I've been having a great time in Kyiv.
Is it your first tour with us?
It's first tour to Kyiv, my second tour with AFA.
All right. What was the first one?
To Colombia, to Barranquilla.
Which one do you like better?
I've had a much better time here.
All right.
Yes.
So, guys. So speaking of which, you know, it's still war going on in Ukraine. What do you think about safety? You know.
It's a little worrisome that there's a war going on, but once you get to Kiev, the war isn't happening at their front door, so you don't forget about it, but it's not front and center.
So did you hear any air sirens? Did you go to shelter?
No, I have all like the air siren apps, and you know, we have all the procedures, but never had to use them, so which is really nice.
Yeah, that's what. I haven't been to the shelter myself yet. Don't even know how it looked like. As you said, there's a gym in it, but we'll find out.
Yeah,
well,
yeah.
Hopefully not.
Yeah, that's actually the only time I've been down there was to go to the gym.
So can you tell us a little bit more about your journey to Kyiv? Because it's a little bit more difficult logistically now compared before. You could just fly to Prenuptial airport. But now, how do you get from, well, first of all, where do you fly?
Chopin Airport in Warsaw was the best way to come in, just land in there, and coming from there to Kyiv is the way I came in. Well, I came in through from Chopin Airport. I landed in Berlin first, but that was to go to Germany. But coming from Chopin, that's where I'm leaving.
And it was a bus or a train?
It was a bus. I took a bus in, and I'm taking a train out.
Okay. Mine must be difficult to be on the bus. You're so tall, you know, on those tiny seats.
Yeah, I had to curl up and sit in for, because it was I think it was 17 hours in total. It was a little long, but I hear the train is much faster back.
Well, it's not. A train is about the same time, but at least you can lay down. It's a sleeping train, so it's much better. So you don't have to sit and sit, and hopefully you can sleep on a bus or a train. And you know. So when you get here, you're not too jet lagged. Did you experience a lot of jet lag when you got here?
A little bit, yeah. The first night was definitely rough, but from there it wasn't bad at all.
I think you got here a little earlier than most of the group, right?
Yeah, I got here a little early because I figured I'd be jet lagged. So that way, by the time everything started, I'd be better.
That's good, that's good. So you're fully recovered. So let's talk about beautiful ladies. Did you have any dates so far?
Yeah, I've had a few, and they've been wonderful. I really enjoyed my time with some of these women.
And the socials, what are your impressions of the socials?
They're definitely something that I'm not accustomed to, and there are a lot of people, but my interpreters both were very knowledgeable and able to help me make it into a manageable scenario, a little more like a familiar scenario.
That's great. So would you give any advice to the guys who are watching us right now who's thinking about coming to Ukraine and just not sure? Any tips for the guys?
Risk rewards the prepared man. This is pretty much the best phrase I've heard about it is just as long as you're knowledgeable, you're on top of everything. Coming is, there are more steps to it, but they're not difficult steps. And it's definitely an experience that is life-changing. I've been on a few vacations before, out of the country before, but this was the most fun I've had in a long time.
That's good to hear. That's what we're here for. But actually, if we compare, dating Ukrainian women versus dating Colombian women, because you went on dates with both, and I'm sure it's very different mentality, different mindset. How would you compare it? And just again, any tips for dating Ukrainian ladies?
They're very traditional, which is exactly what I know myself and some of the other guys that I've grown close to and that we've been able to speak about, and just very traditional, very kind of like I guess movie-esque would be the best way, is like very formal and very like, I don't want to say old time as a negative, sorry, but as in like a more like I said, traditional feel.
And actually, you mentioned made some friendship with the other guys on the tour. That's what we always say. It's another perk of going on the tour. You make friends because you're here for the same reason, same goal. You're looking for a life partner, and it's just it's a network of guys that you can rely on. So it sounds like you made a few friends, right?
Yeah, actually, I have 2 friends from going to Colombia that I still, 3 years later, still am in contact with. And I know I've gotten the number from several other people on the tour already, and I haven't finished yet. So I know there's a couple that I still need to get the numbers of, so we can keep in contact and see if anybody's, because one gentleman said if I ever want to come back to Ukraine, let him know, and we can maybe work out a time together if possible, which would be great.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So you're not only meeting ladies, you're making friends and friendships. That is great. Yeah. Well, I guess that's all my questions for you for today. And thank you so much for joining us. Thank you, Travis.
Absolutely. Thank you, Anna. Yeah, you've been wonderful this entire time.
Thank you. Now I'm blushing. Thank you, Travis.
No problem. Anytime, Anna.
Thank you.
Well, guys, that was Travis and John sharing their experience from the most recent Ukraine tour. So if any of you had questions about traveling to Ukraine, hopefully you got some answers right there. And if not, you can ask me. All right, let's get to your questions for tonight. John says, I noticed that all the dating seminars on Saturdays. I can't attend on Saturdays. Will it be okay to come into the Phoenix office during the week to meet your staff and ask them questions? Absolutely, John. You're more than welcome to our office. We're here Monday through Friday, 9 to 5-ish. So basically standard office hours. So just come in anytime. If you want to make an appointment, definitely can. You feel free to call us at the office. And if you want to talk to someone specifically, definitely give us a call. Otherwise, just come in and we'll be happy to talk to you and meet you in person. All right. Next question. Noah Easter K. My decades of reading people's body language have helped me through the years. As far as Marisol from Buenos Aires, Argentina, what I noticed in her facial expression, especially her eyes. Marisol has a hidden problem with anger. If you press the wrong button with her, it's coming out. Believe that. Well, I'm not questioning that at all, and so that could be it. That's like helpful knowledge to have. So share with us some tips when you watch the videos, you know. It will be helpful for other guys what to, you know. So how did you determine that actually she has problem with anger? Share your tips. John says, I noticed that AFA staff works hard to take care of its clients. In your opinion, how can clients make AFA job easier? Oh, let me start the list. No, but seriously, well, if you're talking about when you're on a tour, the most important is communication. Make sure you talk to the staff. You talk to your tour leader, you talk to the person who assigned to you to make dates. If you're not happy with something, talk to us right now and then. Don't wait till the end of a tour, you know, not when you come back to the States, because we can't turn back time, we can't change anything at that time. But right there in the moment, if you talk to us, tell us, you know, something, whatever it is, not working. I don't like my interpreter, I don't like that, I don't like this, I want, you know, I want to change things. Talk to us. We'll figure out the way to make it happen for you. So it's, and of course, probably don't call your tour leader at 2 o'clock in the morning. That will be highly appreciated. So, but our staff, of course, is very, you know, happy to help you at any time, though. Other than that, you know, just again, still communication. So prior to your travel, make sure you share your itinerary with us. Don't do it at the last moment. Remember the time difference. Remember that our office is closed on weekends. So, for example, you fly into your destination on Saturday, and you share, you know, your details with us on Friday night. We're not gonna see it till Monday, so we won't be able to arrange your pickup. We won't be able to schedule your meeting on time if you're meeting the lady on Sunday. So remember to give us heads up about whatever it is you're doing. Not 6 months prior, but 2-3 weeks out would be appreciated. All right. Cody says, hello Anna, our daughter is now last week 1 month old, Nicole Michelle Gilmer, and our son is 19 months, Nicholas Daniel Gilmer. Oh Cody, it's amazing, you know, so you're having 2 beautiful children. Thank you for still watching us. I'm sure you're too busy with 2 babies right there on your hands. And say hi to your wife. Another one from John. In your opinion, Anna, how can a guy not come across as a loser to foreign ladies, make a good impression, and raise the stock in their eyes? Well, you know, confidence. Not, again, as we talk so many times, don't be overly cocky, but try to feel inner confidence. Don't try to buy their love, because once you start throwing money at someone, you know, it's just you're gonna lose your value in her eyes. So it's like, well, he's probably compensating for something if he's trying to buy me all those things. Of course, courtship process is important. It's important to buy flowers, some you know, small, let's stress it out, small gifts, you know, maybe it's a small bottle of perfume or something here and there. But I'm not talking about big list items like iPhone, fur coat, so, you know, whatever it is. So especially if you just met, you're not her sponsor, you're there just to get to know each other. So there is a fine line between being cheap and you know, actually respecting yourself enough and taking, not to buy her everything that a lady wants, because, you know, sometimes lady, you know, might test the limits and ask you to buy a little bit more than you're willing to buy. So just fine line. If you're not comfortable with something, just talk to our staff. You know, tell her, oh, this lady asked me to buy her 500 euro worth of perfume. What do I do? And our staff will tell you, well, it's not appropriate after you just met her. So don't do that. Tell her, and you can tell it to her face, like, hey, I'm not, you know, we just met. It's our first or second date. Let's get to know each other. I'm definitely open to take care of my, my girlfriend, my fiance, but we just met. We're not quite there yet, so let's see what happens. All right. More questions. Give me a second. Ooh, a lot of questions. Perfect. Stuart says, what are behaviors that men think are gentleman behavior, but Ukrainian women read as weak, uncertain, and performative? Well, I guess that's what I mentioned, trying to buy a woman, so trying to shower her with gifts, you know, because again, some guys thinking it's either gentleman behavior or just trying to show off that you have some financial resources to take care of her, but some women, you know, can take it as a weakness. So I guess it's you know, very similar to what John asked in so many ways. Grinder Gander, do you know of any online language learning courses of apps in Ukraine outside of Duolingo? I'm not having much luck with finding one. Well, Duolingo is great. It's actually a great tool to learn language. I was bored and I tried to learn a couple of languages. I was making a progress. Was that I gave up? That's a whole different story. But I saw a lot of progress. My dad tried to study English on Duolingo. He made huge progress, and it wasn't easy for him, but it's a great app. So yeah, still recommend that one. Others, I don't know. Again, I personally only use Duolingo. Not for Ukrainian language specifically, but I had good experience. Renee says, Anna, what was the age range of the ladies that you guest dated? Well, depends on the country. It's for Philippines, that would be a larger age gap. I've seen 20, 30 years easily age gap over there. Could be more in some cases. For Ukraine, I would say for the most of it, we were at 10, 15 years age gap. Again, it can be changing either way. And in Latin America was about the same, plus minus 10, 15. But again, each case is very unique and different, so we need to look at each specific case. Coop is asking, what are the most unethical practices you've seen in Ukraine that the public doesn't understand? We need to think about it. I wasn't prepared for this. I would need to think about it. Let me think about it. Maybe I'll be able to answer it towards the end of the webcast. I need a moment on this. Nothing comes to my mind just yet. David is saying 18 hours train from Warsaw to Kyiv. Oh, 1 second, just lost you. Oh my god. Sorry, David. 18 hours train from Warsaw to Kyiv has to be a killer. Well, actually, if you get a sleeper train, it's not bad, especially a direct one. Make sure you book it 2 months prior. So, you just get on it, and you go to sleep. The only thing is they do wake you up about the middle of, at midnight or so when you get to the border. First you hit the Polish border, and right after it's Ukrainian border. Polish is fairly fast. They come in, they scan your passport, ask if you have anything to declare, and then they leave the train. On the Ukrainian side, that takes longer because most of the cases they do not have the machine that reads passports, which freaked out a lot of guys my tour guys that were on the train with me. So they grab your passports and they also have to take it outside of the train to their kiosk to scan it there, but guys don't know what's going on. It's like, why did they take my passport? What's gonna happen? Is they gonna arrest me? No, it's okay, they just need to scan it there and they bring it back, and of course they brought it back, everything, gave everybody back their passports, there were no issue, but they just need to scan it this way, and they ask the same question, do you have anything to declare? And everybody's good, then train keeps going. You just can take a little longer on the Ukrainian side, but you still arrive more or less on time to Kyiv. So yeah, it's not bad. So you continue sleeping right after Ukraine border. Take a nice nap. Just keep in mind they don't serve meals on those trains, so make sure you have your food with you, drinks, water, whatever it is you need, have it with you to be prepared. Makroskri says, I'm aware of Ukrainian women writing introduction letters that put them in many definitive categories, both negative and positive. I would recommend to skip introduction letters altogether. Honestly, it's my personal opinion. Of course, a lot of guys like it. It's like when they get attention, but you need to understand how introduction letters work. So when the lady joins the website, she writes a message, like it's fairly generic because it's going to be going to a lot of guys. So she writes this message she wants to send out. And then our staff, matchmakers, local offices, agencies, they send it to everybody who matches the criteria that she gave us. So sometimes ladies has very specific criteria. So I want to meet someone 35, 37, living in Australia, such and such and such. But sometimes I have very like, anybody between 30 and 50, living in the States, that's describes a lot of our guys. So of course more guys gonna get introduction letters from her. So it doesn't mean she literally seen your profile. So that's how a lot of guys get an idea, like, oh, those young attractive girls so interested in me. Well, there might be, but still, just use the critical thinking, and if you want to open that introduction letter, go ahead. But I personally recommend to write on the ladies that you're interested in. So you saw this profile, you've read it, it's somebody you really, really like, then send her a message. Don't open every single introduction letter that you receive. That's the next one, Passport King. Ukraine is where my future bride is at, unless she's currently in another country in Europe or already in the US. Well, we don't have a lot of profiles in USA, and actually we're trying to remove them anyway, because we get a mixed result with the domestic dating. We tried to play with it for a little bit, but it just wasn't as efficient, wasn't as successful as a foreign dating, so... but yeah, a lot of ladies did relocate it to Europe. You definitely can explore this opportunity. We can arrange individual introductions. So when you see a lady's profile on a website that you want to meet and you had some correspondence, you want to proceed with that, click the button on her profile that says personal introduction, place an order, and then our staff will coordinate a meeting between two of you. Go Joe. I hope Trump forces an end to this war so flights can resume there. I really want to go to Ukraine. Well, again, you can go to Ukraine, you cannot fly there, but there is just ground transportation. You fly to Poland or Moldova and take a bus, train, or taxi to a destination city. It's not, it's still available. But of course, we're all waiting for the war to be over. Okay. A lot of questions tonight. Really nice. 1 second. I lost where I stopped. Okay, Lewis, in Ukraine, how often is it the love? How often is it money plus security? And how often is it just lost? Well, I mean, I would say it's in most cases it's a combination of love and security, because a lady would not move just for love alone, feeling that her future partner would not be able to provide her sense of security. For that, she can stay at home. She's gonna have more sense of security at home, because there she has a job, she has a place to live. Yeah, there is a war going on, it's one thing, but still, she knows she's gonna be fine. She's gonna survive. She's gonna, all her financial needs met, so she's okay. She has her support network, her friends, her family, everybody's still there. So even if it's, the greatest love of all, she's not gonna move just for love alone. She's gonna ask a question. So where are we gonna live? How are you gonna take care of me? Because she won't be, best case scenario, even if she wants to work day one. First of all, she needs to find a job and she needs to be able to speak English, but second, she needs to have the documents for this. And it's gonna, by the time you file for her green card, by the time you get her work permit, if you get lucky, it's 6-7 months by the time she gets it after her arrival, so it's gonna take time. So you need to be able to figure out how you're gonna take care of your family, of her, pay for the immigration services, take care of her needs. So I would say it's a combination. Just simply for money, again, no lady will move just for money, because there has to be emotion, there still has to be love, because who would want to live with the person whom you don't love, whom you hate for the 5-6 years, just pretending? It's very difficult. They wouldn't do that. See where I stopped. John says, I noticed that you don't do Peru call-in streams as often as anymore. When will you start doing them again? Well, we're having ladies on this webcast here on and off, so I'm sure we're gonna. I need to see when the next tour to Peru is. I'm sure we'll do a couple of more Zoom calls with the ladies in Peru soon. Dave says, hello ma'am, several of Ukraine profiles of the ladies on my hot list are in smaller cities around Ukraine. If I go to Ukraine for tour, is there a way to get them to the socials, or should I extend my time there and get an individual tour on top? Well, I wouldn't even do individual tour anyway, be on top of the group tour, because individual tour still covers your destination city, whether it's Kyiv or Odessa. If your ladies all over Ukraine, you're not gonna accomplish much. So if you didn't have a fairly long correspondence, the ladies from other cities not gonna be willing to travel to meet you, let's say Kyiv or Odessa, wherever you end up being. So if she's in Zaporozhye, her trip to Kyiv is 10 hours each way. So imagine, so for a blind date, 20 hours, you know, it's too much. Even though you pay for her transportation, her hotel, and other expenses, which will be expected if she agrees. You know, it's just, she doesn't know you. She doesn't know if you know she's gonna spend this 24 hours traveling to meet you, and there might not be no chemistry. You might not like her. She's not gonna like you. So what she's gonna do? She's gonna be stuck in Kyiv for no reason. So that's why ladies want to correspond. Preferably do a video call before agreeing to something like that. And again, keep in mind you will be paying for their travel expenses, their taxis, their train, buses, whatever it is. Love, such gorgeous women for sure. Absolutely, the ladies are very nice and very beautiful. Felix, what's the most common fantasy Ukrainian women assume about foreign men that backfires? Well, I guess again the financial aspect, because you know it's a common stereotype thinking if a person lives abroad, whether it's United States or Europe or you know elsewhere, by default they're very successful, very wealthy and successful, which is not the case. And you know, very often we have a lot of hardworking guys, but they're not billionaires. So and you know, for example, a lady hears how much money a guy makes, to her like, oh, it's a lot of money. But reality, the prices in the United States, the bills are much higher. You know, if your cell phone bill in Ukraine is $10, it's not gonna be $10 here a month. You know, so once we start comparing things, it's not quite the same. So it's gonna be a big shock for her when she moves here. So I think the financial miscommunication is the biggest issue. David says, Anna, do you have hotels listed on the website that is recommended by AFA? We don't have it listed on the website, but if you reach out to me and tell me where you go, and I would be happy to recommend hotels in the area. Mike says, the dating coach I was lining up to see has decided to shut down the business. Do you have a dating relationship coach that you can recommend? Well, currently we're not partnered up with anyone, unfortunately, so I personally don't, and I don't know anyone personally I can recommend. So once we find a good, reliable person, we definitely will be happy to share this information. But if you want, you know, general advice, you can always give us a call, and we'll be happy to talk to you about it. Alright, Joe says, speaking of materialism, what about the guy who wears jewelry? Does it even matter? No, I don't think so. But although I would not recommend wearing expensive jewelry in the wrong parts of town, so it just depends where you're going. Maybe try not to wear flashy jewelry in unknown areas. You know, if you stay in your hotel in the safe tourist areas, whatever country you go for it. But if you're traveling somewhere else, you know, if you're going to some unknown restaurant other side of town, leave it in your hotel safe, you know, just in case. Lucky says, hi Anna, Lucky again from New Zealand. I have rebooked everything for Ukraine tour in April. Hope it doesn't change again, lol. I'm 39 years old and I'm looking for age ranging between 24 to 30. Is that okay? Yeah, sorry about that. We had to change the tour. I'm sure John and Michelle explain you what happened. Well, first of all, we don't want you guys to freeze in the hotel, which I'm sure temperature in the hotel more or less is okay. You probably will be fine, and you know you guys are strong. I'm sure you can live through it. But it's just for ladies, they're really not in that much mood to go to the social events right now, because especially right now, there is no electricity, there is no heat, and there is no water. So how can you go to a date when you can't even use a bathroom in your own house, not mention taking a shower, you know? So only the way you can take a shower if you go to your gym, because places like this have a power generators. Okay, so there you can go there and look like a human being after, but otherwise, you know, you can do it at home. And people are just trying to leave town as much as possible. If somebody have parents that living out in the country, or you know, have those dacha homes, or have friends with that, they're trying to leave Kyiv as much as possible, as long as they have somewhere to go, because in those places they have a wooden stove, fireplace, you know, so so the life still goes out there, but unfortunately not in the city of Kyiv, and so was Odessa. So we didn't want you guys to be miserable over there and have 3 ladies at the social. So it made more sense to reschedule. As far as the age range, 24 to 30, yeah, absolutely, 39, yeah, I see no problem with that. I think you're gonna have great success. Love says, really over 100 single women looks like a good chance to find a wife for sure. You can keep in mind, of course, not everybody's gonna be age range that you're looking for, because we have diverse group of guys, different ages, so there is someone for everyone. But yeah, still, I agree, there is a good chance to find the one there. One second. Passport King says, Prenuptial language system is very good for learning to speak foreign languages. Well, thank you for recommendation. Carol, how do you spot a woman who's just in survival mode versus someone who actually wants a real relationship? Well, that's a first of all, I mean, you do feel chemistry with them. You can see if it's mutual. It's one thing. So that's why when you don't feel it in the correspondence, you don't feel it on the video calls. You need to see, each other face to face. You can see how she reacts. So just watch for that, of course. Besides, basic body language. And also see what kind of questions she asks on a date. If she's asking the right questions. So, for example, if you guys want to have kids, all those serious questions. Maybe not. Okay, how much money you make? What do we, what's my, what am I getting out of it? Of course, that's a red flag. But if she's asking, questions about your long-term future. Brian says, how big an issue is the language barrier for these ladies? Would they get frustrated? Well, there are going to be a lot of frustrating moments for 2 people that don't speak the same language by default, because it's going to be so much lost in translation. Even if she speaks good English, there are still going to be a lot of slangs or some expressions she doesn't know. They didn't teach her that in school, and the same thing, you might not understand what she says because she's translated it with a dictionary or Google Translate. Something can come out wrong. There are so many little details will be lost. So there might be a little bit more arguments there with compared to a normal couple that speak the same language. So it happens all the time. But it builds also a bond. It tests your patience, and you learn how to communicate. You understand, okay, this was miscommunication, we need to get through it. So it's a good exercise, to do before she comes here. So, helps you to learn how to communicate better, actually, when you don't speak the same language. Victor, what's your advice? Should a guy learn the language first, or is it optional? Well, you don't need to be fluent in a lady's language, whatever country you're traveling, or Spanish, or Portuguese, or it's Ukrainian, or Thai, whatever it is. No, you don't have to. It will be very nice, and ladies find it cute if you learn some expressions. So hi, how are you, goodbye, thank you. Just those basic words. So you can learn 10-15 words. That's all you need to know. And she'll appreciate that you made an effort, that you really tried. But yeah, you don't have to learn the whole dictionary, so it's fine. Love says, how much is the cost to book a hotel? Do you help and find a hotel? How much? Well, hotels are different. I don't know what country you're asking about, what city, how many stars you want, right? The price can be anywhere from $20 to $500. The price right? So it just really depends. So you can let me know what country, what city, what approximately you're looking for, and I can make recommendations. Something near the office that's fairly decent that guys used in your price range. So just let me know. Okay. Green Dragender says, if I have to rely upon my critical thinking skills, then this entire endeavor is doomed. Well, that's why you have our staff. And you can rely on their experience. They've only been doing it for 10, 15, 20, 30 years in some cases. So they have a lot of good information to share. They're local, so they also can tell you if it's a cultural difference or it's just not a good match for you. So just rely on them for that. Brent says, how do you feel about prenups? I think a prenup is really, can be a very useful tool. especially for a lot of guys. I understand how a lot of guys want to protect their assets. Most of the states, United States, just keep in mind this community property state, so basically whatever you accumulated prior to the marriage, you're not going to be dividing. So if she comes right now, so only assets that will be divided after you get married, Of course, if you want to protect that, you definitely want to do a prenup, but keep in mind a few factors. It has to be fair prenup, because if it's like really, really one-sided, the judge is gonna, once you file the divorce, and the judge looks like, okay, and it says like, you get $1 after 15 years living with me, and it's like, no, it's not gonna stand in court. So make sure it's fair. Make sure the lady understands what it says. So you want to have an attorney that's gonna translate into her, paralegal or whatever it is, in her native language, provides her native language, so she sees what she signs, again, because it's gonna be argument in court later. She's like, I don't know, he gave me some piece of paper, I didn't understand anything in English, I don't know what I'm signing, So I'm signing lease agreement, whatever it is, right? I didn't know what it is. So again, it's not gonna stand in court, so you wanna make sure, it's a legal document that she fully understands. And also, you do want to provide this to her before she comes here, so she has time to think about it. You guys have time to discuss it. If something she wants to change about it, something she doesn't agree, you don't want to present it to her on day 89, so you have 90 days to get married. 3 hours before the wedding, you come with attorney and paralegal, like, okay, here, sign this, or you're going back home. So if you pressure her like that, it's also not gonna stand in court. So do everything right, and again, it's not gonna start for a marriage too. She's gonna hate you for that. So maybe even she signed it, it's not gonna end well for this family. So just think about both of you. Yes, you want to protect your interest, but also she wants her interest to be protected too. So do it the way so she will feel secure about the whole deal. And also keep in mind that prenups are, not really common in most of the countries that we go to. So at the first, she can take offense when you mention it. She's gonna say like, well, how's it you don't trust me? I'm dropping everything I have, so I'm quitting my job, I'm leaving my family, my friends, I'm just trusting my life, putting my whole life in your hands, and you don't trust me with anything, and you want this piece of paper. She can take a huge offense over it. So don't hold it against her, because prenups are not common in that part of the world. So talk to her calmly. It might take 2-3 serious conversations for both of you to get on the same page about it. All right, Nick, what's the biggest myth about international dating that both sides need to drop? Oh, it's another complicated question. Biggest myth that it's everything is gonna be wonderful, perfect, because it's relationship. It takes work, and it's actually might take double work because it's long distance relationship. When people don't speak the same language, there's gonna be a lot of miscommunication. So both of you need to have a lot of patience. Yes, love is required, but patience is gonna be the key, and not all people have that. Not a lot of people just not prepared for this long journey. Just because you fall in love with somebody abroad doesn't mean everything's gonna happen instantly. It's gonna be long immigration journey, a lot of everything happening. It's a lot of things gonna test your relationship, so be prepared for that. Sean, what's the biggest rookie mistake men make? And I think again I just said it earlier, trying to buy a woman's love, trying to shower her with gifts, so don't do that. Alexis, so what's the basic standard you expect from men? Dress, manners, effort? Well, I mean, of course, how the man, we make impression of a man in the first 2-3 seconds we meet him. So even when you come to us, we already how you look, how you dressed. So we already, even before you open your mouth, we already have an image of you in our head, and we kind of already know if we want to proceed. Maybe you can change our mind. Actually, you can change our mind after you start speaking, because maybe you're the most handsome guy in the world. You approach us like thinking, can't wait to meet him, and then you open your mouth and it's like, oh my god, just please stop talking, leave me alone. So, and vice versa, it can be not, can be average looking guy, but he approaches, smile, looks so friendly, makes some good jokes, and just breaks the ice, and you feel like you want to spend all your time, the entire evening with this guy. You don't see anybody else in the room, so it just really depends. In order to start breaking that ice, make sure you dress nicely. We keep talking about dressing out, so Great haircut, shower. Don't forget the shower, guys. Sorry, I have to keep saying it, but there's a lot of guys liking that basic hygiene skills. So basic hygiene, wear nice clothes. It doesn't have to be Gucci and Armani. It can be very basic, very basic clothes, but just nice, clean, ironed. Just something that fits you, doesn't have holes, stains, wrinkles. Just be prepared. And of course, effort. Yes, put some effort into getting to know a lady. Asking questions about her, not start pouring your whole life story into her. Like, you talk to her for 5 minutes, and she probably got a chance to say a couple of words like yes or no the entire time. So you don't want to start talking to her like, oh, my ex-wife was this, and my girlfriend was this, and American women are horrible. It's not what she wants to hear. You're meeting her, you want to get to know her, not your all negative experience, from your life. Intrepid, who has more unrealistic expectation, young or old guys? Well, I'm not sure I should. Actually, it's pretty equal. Yeah, just guys. I don't think it changes young or old. Love says, I heard there will be great opportunity to start a business there after the war. Just my thought. I would like that. I'm sure. I'm sure, when changing the economy, there is a lot of emerging opportunities. Absolutely. KD, if you do a club tour, does that include hotel accommodations? No, it does not, unfortunately, but I can make recommendations. Maurice, I want to go, but I want to go where I have the best chance of success. African American, 47 years old. Well, the second question, what's the age bracket are you looking at? So just tell me what's your game plan there, and I can make recommendations. John says, hello, madam. Is there any chance AFA will go to South Korea anytime soon? To the best of my knowledge, we don't have anything in books. But what do I know? We just put Malaysia on the list, and I just learned that long ago. So everything is possible, but not this year. Pete, I hope your day has been awesome. In your experienced opinion, which country that AFA goes to would have the best non-spicy but energetic and happy women? That's another tough one. Happy women? Latin America is a great place. Check out Peru, great destination, so many nice ladies there. You can see on those Monday night webcasts quite often we have ladies from Peru, and you can see they're very positive, they're very friendly. Of course, Philippines is a great destination for that. All the Filipino ladies that I know, very energetic and very happy. I don't know how they do it, but they're very happy. Kevin, pertaining to the prenup, two things need to occur in order for it to be valid. First, it needs to be translated into her language. Second, she needs her own legal representation, her own attorney. Otherwise, there's a strong case that she did not fully understand the agreement and was signed under duress. Exactly, it's what I was trying to say. Thank you for wording better for me. Thank you, Kevin. Love, prenups show no trust and worry about being cheated of your money. I think most of women are genuine, not looking for a paycheck, and I agree with you. Women are looking for a paycheck, and of course, again, women want to be their rights to be also be protected. So prenup can be a very good tool as long as you show her rights also protected. So it's not like, okay, you drop everything you have, again, you come here, and I don't like you, I'm gonna send you back with nothing. And you go back to nothing because you already quit your job, you're not getting your job back, you already ended the lease of your apartment, so you go home, you're homeless without the job, that's really sucks. So if she does it, of course, I've seen some ladies I was asking them, well, do something that shows that my rights will be protected. So, you figure out you don't love me in 6 months, you want to part way, okay, well, it's fine. But, where I'm gonna live, so help me with with those basic needs that I have, in case if something doesn't work out between us. Joe says the fear of divorce and being left with laying under a bridge is the biggest obstacle. Well, this actually more applies to women, because guys, what do you mean? You still gonna, again, you find a woman, get divorced, you're still gonna be okay, because you're still gonna keep everything you had before this marriage. At the most, you're gonna split in some assets that you had after the marriage. So you're not gonna be under the bridge. She can be under the bridge. So don't forget to think about your fiance. Love says, so true, Anna, who wants to hear about someone ex? Yes, exactly, yes. So guys, don't talk about your exes much, unless it's a very relevant case. But yeah, please don't talk about your exes, especially on the first date, and second, and preferably not the third too. Alright guys, thank you for sending all your questions tonight. It was a lot of fun, and I'm looking forward talking to you next Monday. Thank you for watching.
The weather's been decent. It's not super cold or anything. It's November. Oh, well, it's going to be December pretty quick. But I was concerned. I didn't tell anyone I was coming here because I didn't want anybody